Hi, Bashar.
And a you
Hi.
good day.
I have a question about some history in the Bible.
Yes.
I was wondering if Moses actually went up on Mount Sinai and got these two tablets and where they came from.
He was given knowledge. It was an extraterrestrial encounter. The knowledge was inscribed in what you might call tablets, but not exactly of stone.
And what were they made of and where are they now?
They were a kind of crystalline formation, a kind of a crystalline nanomaterial with information that was downloadable upon touching the surface with your hand. There were some inscriptions in it, but only in the most general sense of, here's this category, this category, this category, this category, this category. Touch here, you will get that knowledge. Touch here, you will get that knowledge. Touch here, you will get that knowledge. Now, what has been translated in your language as the so-called 10 commandments were not commandments. That's a misinterpretation. They were simply 10 expressions of existence. In other words, to give you an example, what translated as, I am the Lord your God, you shall not have false gods before me, as a commandment, actually was, I am all that is, anything else you can imagine is still me, so there can be no false gods. That's the difference. Where are they now? Wouldn't you like to know? We're actually not allowed to tell you. However, we are allowed to give you a hint, if we may.
I would love a hint.
All right. What is the most famous story about someone solving a riddle that you have in your culture? Nope. Louder.
Something, the Sphinx?
What a surprise. See what you can find. Solve the riddle.
Okay, I have
We're
to
only
think
allowed to
about
tell
that.
you so much. We cannot intervene in this process. But they do exist. They can be found. In, or perhaps out of time.
And this extraterrestrial presence that gave us these tablets, are they also responsible for the Jews being in the desert for 40 years and the parting of the sea?
Yes. They are a branch of what you have come to understand as the Anunnaki, but not the original ones.
And do you know why they chose to give it to the Jews?
I do.
Can you tell us why?
Not my job to tell you. Someone else will tell you in time or out of it.
Okay.
It may. We are being told it may, to some degree, be allowed, once again, in the upcoming transmission, the 5 hybrid races, which actually, we are also being told we are allowed to say, may actually be not only about the 5, but the 6th that you're becoming, and the 7th, that we will all become together. So it may extend a little further than you think, and it may cover more ground than you think, and may turn in more directions than you think, from the title that has been given. We do not mean to be mysterious, but yes, we do. For that is all we can say at this moment, based on the timing of the dispensation and dispersal and dissemination of this information. You are on the cusp, but not quite there yet. But more will be revealed as these dialogues continue. Will that do?
On that topic, yes.
And what topic would you like to continue with?
I'm curious about Mars.
Yes, what about it?
Was there any life there? Is there life there?
Yes and yes. Primitive, still at this point. A civilization long ago that needed to move because of an asteroidal strike that ripped off about half of their atmosphere and became uninhabitable by the life form that was there. But there are still what you would call bacteriological, fungal, lichen-style life forms. Not to say that the planet isn't visited by different civilizations from time to time for a variety of reasons. Not to say that there aren't bases there for ships. But in terms of the indigenous life, that left long ago and started to go inward and incarnate upon the earth in terms of their spirits. And therefore, the trail began in your solar system with the body that was between Mars and Jupiter, that is now the asteroid belt in your system that was once called Maldek. And when that became uninhabitable, the life moved to Mars and flourished there for quite some time. And when that became uninhabitable, life incarnated on your Earth, which is still habitable, moving inward and inward and inward toward the sun, toward the light, going from the outer darkness to the inner light. Yes?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Can you tell us a little bit about what the civilization was like when they were living on Mars?
Another time. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
But we will, another time. All right?
And last little question. Do you know if I have any hybrid children?
I do know.
And can you tell
I thought
me?
you said that was the last question. Yes, you do.
How many?
That I will not answer.
Any names?
That I will not answer.
Can you give me any information about that?
Go to sleep and dream of them, and they will communicate with you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Pleasant dreams.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I'm good. I just have a question about two mysterious creatures and what's your take on it?
Two mysterious creatures.
Yes, the Mothman and the Chupacabra.
All right. Chupacabra, as you call it, is a relatively rare and little-known species that exists on your planet. It is uncommon to run across it, but it is kind of a cross between what you would call a canine and something else a long time ago that was hybridized with it,
Oh, okay.
that no longer exists on your planet in its original form, is extinct. So it is a rare offshoot of a hybridization, a melding that took place long ago. And it's the last remnants of that particular creature on your planet. Mothman is a very different idea. As you express it, it is a being, an interdimensional being, that like a moth is drawn to a certain type of light. The light being the light you experience or have described as experiencing upon the passage in death. Therefore, it is always attracted to things that have to do with imminent death, passage of death. In that sense, it can be a warning or a harbinger of death to come, or it can simply be that being which is attracted to the light that occurs in the transition between one reality and another. Like energy being given off in the passage.
Interesting. And one last topic. In the distant future, will we be working more with nature spirits?
Absolutely. As has already been described, you will find that after the time of the arrival of the hybrids on your planet, and when they are more fully integrated into your society and you into theirs, the idea of interacting with nature spirits will be a relatively common thing, because you will all have the abilities to do so based on the abilities of the hybrids to perceive them and guide humans to them and allow the spirits to manifest before you in more physical ways. So there will be an activity and a process involved in this. But by the time, as we have explained already, or also as has Hilla Crissing explained to you already, being 700 years in your future, interacting with nature spirits is a daily occurrence for her and the people of that time.
Oh, cool. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Yes. Is that it? Is that it?
Okay, any living dinosaurs, and then that's it.
What about dinosaurs?
Like the Loch Ness Monster, is that a real thing?
Well, of course you understand that dinosaurs exist as birds, yes? And in fact, many of your scientists, to be a little bit more accurate, are not really referring to them as birds anymore. They're referring to them as avian dinosaurs. Yes?
Yes.
Are there any originals living? Very rare, but a few in certain isolated places, yes, where the conditions have lasted long enough for them to perpetuate, but this is exceedingly uncommon.
Oh, okay.
And the idea that you are describing as Loch Ness is a slightly different idea. There are certain kinds of portals around your planet that are gateways between one reality and another, and sometimes beings from other times and places will come through them. Oh. And therefore, why you may not be able to easily find them, because they may vanish back through the portal.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So it's kind of like your world is very leaky.
And yeah, that you pretty much answered my questions. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Hi, everyone. Feels really good to be here. Last time I talked to you was last year here.
All right.
So a few things I'd like to talk about.
Yes.
So I'm African American as my race.
All right.
And I've been exploring recently the ancestral healing, multi-generational trauma.
Yes.
And making a lot of great steps in it from my point of view.
All right.
And what's coming to me is this idea that the more oppression, the more pain that someone goes through,
Yes.
the more opportunity that person has for bringing light into the world.
It's the rubber band analogy.
Right. And so what occurred to me was that people who have been oppressed systematically for generations and generations have a really great opportunity to bring light into the world.
Which a lot of them are beginning to do.
Right. And so what I've been thinking about is, for African American people, the idea of the past, future being holographic.
Yes.
The idea of changing the past to align with a specific future. Let's say a future that is bright, that has lots of light and love in it.
Yes, means changing the present.
Changing the present. So basically it's changing how we relate to the past. Does it mean, would it be helpful to actually create new stories of what happened in the past? Or
In a sense, yes, you can do that. The idea also is to understand that every time you change yourself, you do in fact literally change your past.
And so what I've been doing is, for my personal past or the past of people that might have the same skin color as me, or really anyone,
Yes.
I've been kind of feeling into the past
Yes.
and learning about the stories. And then
Yes.
I haven't been changing the stories because I don't think my belief system can support that, but I've
Why
been
not?
changing
Why
my
not?
perspective
Why
of the
not?
story.
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Okay.
Because you don't have to insist that they're true for them to have the effect that they are. Yes?
Okay.
That's why you all tell so many stories anyway. You go to movies and read books, and you know that they might be works of fiction, but many of them feel emotionally true, don't they?
True, yeah.
That's sufficient.
Okay. So I can use stories to paint a picture that elicits certain emotions
Absolutely.
within people I'm talking to
And the
trigger.
reason, as we have said several times, that that's so powerful is because story structure is innately built into your psyche. Story structure is not something you invented. Story structure is something you discovered. And so when you tell a story and use story structure, it's like you're plucking the right chords in your psyche to remember that information more efficiently and take it in and absorb it more deeply. Story structure allows you to transmit information more efficiently.
Perfect.
That's why stories stick. And so many stories have been around for so long, is because they follow story structure and people never forget them. If you miss certain beats in the story structure, the story doesn't feel as authentic. It doesn't have to be true to feel authentic. You understand?
Yeah, thank you. That's very
And
helpful.
besides, even though the story may not necessarily be, let's just say, rather than true, where it may not be relevant for your reality exactly, it still can have universal themes that are experienced somewhere in creation realistically.
Okay.
And therefore you're drawing upon that. Yes?
Yeah, thank you. That's cool. Okay. Another thing I'd like to say is, so last time I was here, I think it was last July, I mentioned that my partner and my girlfriend and I, we are planning to have kids.
Yes.
And we have already started communicating to them while they're in spirit.
Oh, all right.
And so they came through you and said something really awesome last time. So I wanted to ask this time if either of them have anything to say to me through you.
Yes. Don't plan quite so much, because we will bring some of our own plan with us.
Okay. And can I ask specifically about where we're going to be living in June? Do they have anything to say about that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Last thing I want to say is, as I meditate, I've been practicing just letting go of the body as much as I can and just allowing this energy to come in. And I'm curious if you could help my mind understand in more detail what this energy is and how I can better collaborate with it.
It's more of yourself.
Okay. And
More
so I
of your
should just-
greater self. It's not, I know what you mean by the phrase, but it's not really so much about letting go of the body as much as it is incorporating or seeing the body simply as another expression of spirit. Not like the body is in any way, shape, or form holding you back from expanding more in your spiritual state of being. It's all different expressions of the same thing. Does that help?
Yeah, so just keep doing what I'm doing and feel the body as my consciousness, as part of spirit.
Let it be part of the experience of the meditation. Don't
Not
try
trying
to
to get
exclude
out of
it. Be
the way.
more inclusive with it. Yes?
Yeah, and what I've been doing is, as I feel kind of resistances in the body to taking on more energy, I've just been using Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian kind of healing,
All right.
and it just kind of like seems
You
like
can
the
use multiple
resistances
permission
dissolve
slips
and-
if they help reinforce one another. That's fine, but remember that the resistance you're experiencing is coming from the fact that the body senses that you're trying to exclude it. And then you have to pacify it.
Right, okay.
If you include it, you may not have that sensation or need that extra little permission slip.
Interesting. So,
And by the way,
include the body.
are you thinking of going somewhere closer to the ocean?
Yes.
Then the kid says that's okay.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
It's my highest excitement to be here again.
What a coincidence. Mine too.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's about we have some information on internet that there is some sun simulator going on Earth. Could you tell something?
Can you repeat that phrase? It did not translate.
Yeah, a sun simulator is not our sun, our real sun. They say that it's
A
like
sun Simulator.
Yes, like a big light that is pretending to be the sun, so to speak. Thank you. That's the best answer.
Well, I'll give you this. The sun is real
Okay.
and is really there because it's a star, like a lot of other stars, and it's really there and you're really orbiting it. Yes?
Yes.
However, at the same time, since you now are beginning to understand that physical reality is a simulation, I suppose you could say the sun is a simulation too. But then so is everything in physical reality. It's a simulation that you're projecting from your consciousness. So is it really there? Yes. Is it a simulation? Yes. It's this and that, not this or that.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes.
But in the way that you meant it, yes, it's really there.
All right. Okay.
It's not a simulated sun in that context.
Oh, thank you.
Does that help?
Yes.
We'll be kind of addressing similar issues in an upcoming transmission titled, Is the Earth Actually Flat?
Thank you. Yeah.
Because we know that that's been a subject of much discussion between different people on your planet, and we will be happy at that time in that transmission to explain why that dialogue is happening, because there's actually a very good reason why it's happening. Not necessarily the reasons that many of you may think, but there is a good reason why that's happening at this time in your civilization. So there's some connection between that and the question that you've asked.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question.
What
Two
a
more,
surprise.
actually. I was thinking about karma when you were explaining about the history that is
Yes.
really like imprint in our
Yes.
psychic.
Yes.
And so karma would function the same, would be the same.
Karma
like
is self-imposed. Karma is just an understanding that you may have made choices that allow you to experience yourself as being out of balance, and in recognizing that that may not be what you prefer, then taking actions in the direction of choosing things that would bring you back into balance. That's karma. That's all it is.
Okay, it's like a memory.
Well, in a
It's-
sense, although memory is created in the present.
Yeah. Yes. So if we live simultaneous lives.
Yes.
So it's not right to say that we have karma that comes to another life. So
That is incorrect. Correct.
okay. So we don't have anything to pay. Like
No. Just attention to yourself.
okay.
Pay attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And choose what you prefer. And if you choose something you don't prefer, learn from it.
Okay.
Make choices that are more in alignment with what you do prefer and who you prefer to be. And that will be the proper use of the so-called term karma.
Okay.
That's all.
Yes.
It really just has to do with responsibility again. Yes?
Yes.
And finally,
I had a dream.
yes,
It was many years ago.
Yes.
And I would like you to help me to understand.
maybe.
Yes.
What's the dream?
There was this night I was very scared because I was thinking that there was some ghosts in the house.
Yes.
And I was praying. And
What did you imagine praying would do?
I'm sorry?
What did you think that praying would do?
Make the ghosts go away, perhaps.
How do you know that praying wouldn't make them come closer?
That was so scared about. I was not sure. But then what happened that there was this big light.
Yes.
And I saw these three angels, big angels, tall angels, and I was not dreaming. And the interesting thing is that the angels, they had eyes like they were extraterrestrials.
Well, that's because they were. They weren't angels. That was a projection from them to put you a little bit more at ease because they gave you something that you were somewhat familiar with.
Oh, okay.
So you had an encounter with the tall whites.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you
Well,
so
I had
much.
nothing to do with it.
Okay, just I had a dream recently that I had a hybrid child, but it had blue skin.
Well, that's a mixture of images because it's representative of going back to the Anunnaki bloodlines because the Anunnaki were slightly tinted blue. That's where the lineage blue blood comes from.
Okay. Okay.
So you're looking at a hybridization, but you're also seeing multiple levels of it that stretch all the way back to the Anunnaki genetically. That's why it appeared to be a blue child.
All right. So he exists.
He does.
Okay. Okay.
Will that do?
Yes.
Thank you.